Welcome to the VXR Power event. Paul O'Neill and Ian Wright alongside me. It made sense to chat to them and get them involved. We've got a fantastic British racing driver, and seeing as it's Vauxhall, an England legend, to chat to and road test the car. So we're going to chat to them about their experience, fellas. Then we might do a bit of football chat as well, because it makes sense to do that, right? So, Righty, how much of a petrol head are you, would you say?
Well, I love cars. I've always loved cars. You know what I mean? I've had a few. I've written off a few. You know, which is always good fun. But on the track, seeing what a car is properly capable of when they build something like the VXR, because I've got the VXR Astra, to see what it is probably capable of is quite frightening. It really, really is. It's amazing. Yeah,
because it's not obviously the first time you've driven it, right? Because you got one. Well, no. How does it compare on this track to zipping around London in it?
Well, like I say, it is a very fast track. There's not too many corners in it, but the fact that the corners that you have to take them properly. You know what I mean? What's the corner that I couldn't really do properly until I got it in the end?
Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave.
Yeah, because I'm going into the first bit too quick, so I can't get back to here to get out when you see it. But it is so good. When you do get it, it is quite nice. But it is a very fast track, and that was really pretty awesome.
What tips did you give Righty before you went round?
I just said to actually drive it like it's a road car, like you go in the shops on your first couple of laps, and just get used to the gears and everything, because there's so much going on. You need to just keep looking ahead and do what you can. But all that went out the window after about 3 corners, and we were absolutely flat to the boards, giving people the bird sign and all sorts of stuff.
Righty, obviously scoring a goal must rank amongst the biggest rushes a human being can have, right? How about comparing that to putting the pedal down and driving around a track like this?
Well, to be honest, just at the death there, I said, Paul, take me on a lap, and he took the button off, took the other button. What's the other button you took?
The ESP, the danger button, mate.
Yeah, took the ESP off, and to be honest, you can only compare it to when you're getting ready to prepare for a massive game, like an England game, I don't know, against Italy in Rome, and you get this feeling of excitement and fear and the adrenaline and everything. And honestly, when I went round on it, it's so frightening. He took all the buttons off. I thought that we was going to roll and everything. And one time, he was staring at it with one hand. It was quite. I said, "Get your hands back on."
Was he making noises like Ned Flanders in The Simpsons? Is that what was going on?
All I could hear was the windows scratching as he was coming into church. But you know, it's like I said to him. For me, I drive round and round all day. It's second nature. I can do it with one hand because I've done it so much. If I went to play five-a-side with him, he'd be megging me, he'd be sticking it on the back of his neck and all that kind of stuff, which he would probably swap what he does, and I would gladly swap what he does, because I always wanted to be a footballer. Yeah. I just wasn't good enough.
When did you realise you were going to be a racing driver then?
When did I realise? Interesting. I was telling Righty this before. I had a big accident in my sister's road car, and I was about 17, 18, didn't know how to drive a car. And she said to me, "You need to sort yourself out, get yourself on a driving course and just get on with it." And anyway, so I did that, and I got my race licence. I was 20 years old, and then with Stuart Harrison here, the big boss of Vauxhall, he gave me a drive, and I won a race, and he's not taking any credit for it. But all the grey hairs I've given him.
Do you remember your first car, Righty?
Vauxhall Viva.
Was it Vauxhall?
Yes.
Massive coincidence.
Yeah, 60 quid, yeah.
60 quid?
Yeah. That was the one.
Colour? What colour was it?
It was a white one.
White Vauxhall Viva.
Yeah. That was the one where, that's the one what didn't have any. I thought you could just buy a car and just go and drive it.
Yeah.
No MOT, no insurance, no tax, all that sort of stuff. It was great times.
What? Retired now. Do you think today when you're driving around and putting the foot down, you ever think, "I'll come out for one more spin"? Has that ever crossed your mind?
It's crossed my mind several times, and I do seem to dip in and out of racing, but not at a top level like British touring cars. But I've got the opportunity maybe to do something in September for a team, because I work for ITV doing the commentary and the coverage. So I'm absolutely awful at that, so I think I should get back driving.
All right, so let's talk a bit of football, I think, seeing as we're here. You're a big footy fan as well, right? So it would be remiss not to start with the under-21s. That's the big story right now, and everyone's massively disappointed, Righty. Are you surprised that we went out?
I don't know. You can't be surprised, you know what I mean? I think that Italy played better. Didn't think we played very well at all, you know, and it's one of those things. I'm not sure what people were expecting of the under-21s when we were going into that tournament, simply because we've got so-called players who could have qualified for the full international team. So everybody's thinking that this team's going to go in and they're going to be brilliant. But what you've got to understand is that the level of coaching and the stuff what's happening for the under-21s in different countries, Italy's of this world and Spain and that, they've got such a march on the most of our players that they've got their whole squad are kind of like going at the same level in respects of getting to a certain level of playing, whereas we've got one or two who are in the top team in the Premier League, the lower team, then you've got the second division, but you've got them lot coming up together. They're more of a unit. And yes, some of the times it comes down as well to just pride in performance and just the way you play. And when you watched them the other day, they didn't seem very infused for me. It was quite disappointing to see.
Paul, Wright makes a good point that you look at other nations and how they approach the under-21s. I'm not saying it's more serious, but they seem to be more cohesive in their approach. There's more gelling there. You look at some of them, against Portugal, I think one of the players, might have been the player that scored, had played for the full national side a week before. Is that what we need to see moving forwards? Players like Raheem Sterling, Jack Wilshere could have qualified as well. We insist they go to these tournaments, even if they've already graduated into the national squad. Yeah,
I do think we need to take, I'm not an expert, but I do think we need to take a leaf out of what the rest of the countries are doing, because, we're a massive nation, as in a footballing nation, and we haven't had success for a long time, and it's such a shame, and something needs to change, doesn't it? And for me, all the time, you just wait for the World Cup, you wait for the Euros, and it's just disappointment. But the lads, I only looked at Harry Kane's face on an interview, and he looked absolutely so disappointed. And I wanted to see that for him, because you just think, are they going to be that bothered? But it's a difficult one, it really is. But it's like in racing, if you're not on top of your game on that particular day, you will not win. And that's a lot of the book is stopping with those 11 players that are on the pitch.
Ladies and gents, if you want to find out more about Vauxhall, vauxhall.co.uk, the website is unsurprisingly the best place for that. And we've just been talking England at Vauxhall England, the Twitter handle. You did a Periscope chat a bit earlier, Righty, which I think is appearing on that. It might even be live right now, so go and check that out, if for no other reason than to check Righty's Periscope. But please give it up for the fellas. Ladies and gentlemen.